have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Scholars of Wrestling. Tarek Awar here, alongside me as always, Brian Ringwood. Hello, Brian.
Hi.
There is no Jeff this week because he has scholar stuff to take care of.
Yes, he's going to get smarter.
Is that good for us? Well, for you and me, probably not.
Meh.
Just trying to unleash more Captain Optimism on us, which
we don't need any of that this week. We don't need any optimism here.
There is no need for that because, like last week, this is going to be another Raw that's going to, in better terms, leave a sour taste in our mouths.
In my case, I actually think that this Raw was worse than last week because last week I actually gave a damn and was pissed off about a lot of things. This week, I just don't care. There was nothing.
Last week got an emotion out of us. This week did not. But before we get into that, let's sneak behind the curtains and get into a little backstage news, shall we?
Backstage news. What is going on in the backstage area?
Well, a couple of interesting things, actually. There's this one report that now, since Brock Lesnar is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, WWE can have him show up on Raws or pay-per-view venues so it can help progress storylines and help build to bigger and better feuds coming down the road that is not Brock Lesnar and John Cena.
Here's basically what this is about, okay? Before he became champion, his contract stated that his storylines had to be planned out in advance around his personal schedule in order for them to work. Now that he's champion, that's out the window.
Yeah.
He's got to work whatever Raws they book him for. He's got to work whatever pay-per-views they book him for. And that just means that, thank you God, it is now confirmed he is going to be champion for a pretty good while.
I'm saying until WrestleMania, which he actually should be champion until then.
He should be. That's pretty much, we're in agreement on this one.
And the one thing is, he doesn't have to show up on every Raw or every, lackluster pay-per-view.
Nah.
He can just show up whenever he really is needed when it comes to, one thing, helping build better stars of the future to help stand against this man, or part-timers who are actually bigger than, let's say, John Cena, and could actually be two bigger names going into specialty pay-per-views.
Think we could get a Brock versus Rock?
They have been hinting at that. For the title, probably not.
No, not for the title.
But just on the count, it's Brock versus Rock 2. Have they had only just one match? I know they had it at SummerSlam where he won became the youngest champion.
That's the only match they've had.
Interesting. And when was that? 2002?
2002.
Wow.
2003. That was right before that was the last match before The Rock went on to his movie career and pissed everybody off.
I don't understand why he's pissing everyone off. He just thought he can elevate his stardom. It's a big success, in my opinion. He's doing big budget movies. Are they good?
Basically,
some of them are.
Basically, for the people who were naysayers to begin with, doing the Die Rocky Die and the Rocky sucks chants and all that, and basically thinking that he thinks himself bigger than this business, this was their air quotes proof that they were right.
And him coming back every now and then is not saying he doesn't care about the company. He just wants to elevate his career and something outside of wrestling, something he's wanted to do, and bravo to him for that.
Yep, but back on Brock, this is actually very good because the way I see it, it's coming down to Brock versus Roman Reigns, whether our fellow scholar Jeff likes it or not, and I think Jeff is coming around based on his comments from last week, but. Okay, I don't think Brock and Roman are going to even touch each other until at least February.
Most likely, yeah.
At least. And in that time, I could see Brock going through a bunch of baby faces, trying to be the one to grab that brass ring. And then finally, when there's no one else left, who you gonna call?
Seth Rollins?
No.
I'm sorry, he's Mr. Money in the Bank.
I can see him, okay? Brock Lesnar takes a beating in one of these matches. And Seth Rollins comes out and Brock Lesnar is down, like, out. He won the match, but he's down and he's out and breathing heavy and all this crap. And out comes Seth Rollins with a Money in the Bank briefcase. He cashes in. The referee gets in the ring. Brock Lesnar sits up, Undertaker style.
Oh, boy.
And just goes to town on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins loses. And Brock Lesnar comes out still WWE World Heavyweight Champion. This deal is good for all involved. Okay? Because I want to see a Brock Lesnar holding the title until WWE WrestleMania. And if the WWE is forcing him to take more dates on his WWE contract, that means that hopefully they're in it for the long haul too. And this is good news for all parties involved.
I couldn't agree more. Moving on, we have CM Punk upset for the leak of him and AJ's wedding picture. All that can be really said about this is, let it go, dude. You're a celebrity. It's going to happen. A picture from your wedding is going to show up somehow on the internet.
Guess what? There's these things called the paparazzi that even if they're not allowed at your wedding, they will find a way to catch a photo of you. And did you ever think that maybe your friends took some photos and were like, here, there you go. It's gonna happen. You getting angry and upset about it isn't gonna change it. You're not gonna get any compensation out of it. You got two people happy at a wedding, online, in the papers, whatever.
And you
move on.
And you got a very attractive wife.
Yes, you do.
To look forward to for the rest of your life. Be happy.
Let it go, man.
And more CM Punk news. Well, this has just been a Paul Heyman guy backstage news, hasn't it?
This is more legit.
Yeah. Okay. Him having his lawyers send a 22-page letter to WWE over royalties. More focused on WWE 2K15 on his likeness. And what can be said about this?
If he's not in the company, okay, if he's not being used in the company, he shouldn't be in the game.
But he's still in the game.
But he's still in the game.
So he should be getting something.
So he should be getting something. And himself and his lawyers are perfectly right in sending a 22-page letter. That's a little bit over the top, but
10-page maybe, but 22.
Just send out something threatening a lawsuit if you don't give me royalties. You don't need to put it in 22 pages. It's just...
The rest of the pages are just, I want you to apologize.
Yes. I want you to apologize and give me my ice cream bars. But that's
the sad thing. We really still want those WWE ice cream bars.
CM Punk's in the right here. WWE is in the wrong. THQ or whichever company it is.
It's not THQ.
What is it? 2K Games or something like that. They're in the wrong here. He shouldn't be in the game. He's in the alumni section of the company. Get him out. If you're not gonna get him out, pay the man. That's pretty much all that needs to be said about that.
And yeah, that really is all that needs to be said. And
that's one semester of business law talking right here.
And I think we're done peeking behind the curtain. Let's look forward to what's ahead and looking at Monday Night Raw.
Do we have to?
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to. At least it got off to I can't even say a real good start.
I can't even say it's a good start because it brought me back to those 20-minute burners of promos from Triple H in the Evolution era in 2003 that everybody just loved so much. This segment was 18 minutes long. 6 guys spoke. Okay, Roman Reigns, whatever teleprompter you were trying to read off of, whatever lines you were trying to read off of, it didn't work. Okay, this promo for you was not good. Okay, you had John Cena reprising the "I'm gonna beat his ass" line. Good for you. Okay, Jericho. Okay, I think Jericho was a little bit off his game when it came to the promos last night. But him and Triple H going back and forth was pretty much the only good spot in this promo. But it just felt like the Evolution days. The 20-minute opening promos where you're like, okay, we get it. It's got to turn into a 6-man tag. I called it 6 minutes in when Randy Orton brought over Roman Reigns and John Cena had already been spoken about. I'm like, okay, they're going to come out. There's got to be a 6-man tag. This can end right now. 18 minutes later, it's still going on. It was boring. It got the point across, but as the record will show for this entire show, okay, it was boring.
And that's really hard to say when it comes to Chris Jericho's highlight reel. Normally the highlight reels are actually somewhat entertaining with whoever they brought in, but I was very intrigued to see, since the only guest at the time was supposed to be Randy Orton. And then once Jericho really started bashing Orton, saying that he's being protected by the Authority, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yep. All of a sudden, Triple H's music hits. Out comes everyone in the Authority, minus Stephanie.
The 4 best-dressed men in the WWE.
Talk about your product placement there.
Indeed.
Men's Warehouse. You can get these fine suits and that pink tie that Jericho liked to point out.
Men's Warehouse. I was staring at the opening, the entrance to one of those today.
Are you kidding? I already have suits from Men's Warehouse, so I'm good.
I do. I was getting a haircut. I'm looking across the way, and there it is. That's it.
The fact that it actually led to a 6-man tag match actually kind of was disappointing.
Well, you knew it.
Oh yeah, I knew it. Once Orton started bashing Roman Reigns, and then Triple H was talking about Cena and him doubting that he should be in the main event. Then out comes Cena.
I actually thought the way I thought it was gonna go was that they were gonna start beating down. They weren't even gonna take off their suits. They were just gonna start beating down Jericho in their suits, and then Cena and Reigns would come out for the save, and there's your 6-man. But either way, it's predictable. You know what's coming at some point, and it's just boring, which is something that should never be said about a Jericho highlight reel.
Agreed. He actually did kind of lose control of his show.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, as soon as Cena came out and did whole threatening to sue Triple H for not going through on his rematch clause.
You're taking my rematch away from me. I'm gonna sue you.
The best part was Triple H laughing at that. I was like, yeah, that's how we were all feeling about the fact that John Cena, the face of the company, threatening to sue, which is normally a heel tendency.
This is not the Big Show threatening to sue, okay?
Ever since the Authority got fully established back in last year's SummerSlam, there has been like 4 or 5 threats to sue of lawsuits,
and the only one that was legitimate was the Big Show's, because his contract was ironclad, and they tried to fire him. So it's like, yeah, okay, that's fine, but you took away my title shot, my mandatory rematch. If you don't give it back, I'm gonna sue. Oh, serious. Like he actually meant it. Stop it.
You think I don't have what it takes to beat Brock Lesnar? Maybe you didn't hear me from last week. I'm not just gonna beat Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna beat Brock Lesnar's ass. Giggity.
Yes, I just at that
You're
point.
gross, Cena.
At that point, it's just like, okay, done.
Then Roman Reigns comes out after Randy Orton's like, if Roman Reigns was in this ring right now,
I would
drop him. That's right. I would drop him. Out comes Roman Reigns. Well, Randy, here I am. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and it's like that's.
You and I have unfinished business, Seth. This is just it's normally WWE has better dialogue in these promos.
Yeah, this just
does not. As much as I like Roman Reigns in the ring, he still has a lot to learn on the mic skills.
He is,
and John Cena not on his A game.
He doesn't have tone. He can't change his tone. When he's serious, he speaks in that low, monotone voice. When he's when he's angry, he speaks in that low, monotone voice. The only time you get any emotion out of the dude is right before he hits the spear and he's going, oh! That's it. Why can't he do that on the microphone? Why can't he get angry and yell at like that on the microphone? Done. I can't with this segment anymore.
Oh, I just got one more thing on this segment. Just from how it really ended up before Triple H made the 6-man tag main event. Everybody all of a sudden was just going, I think I deserve the title shot. No, I think I deserve the title shot. How about me putting my mask back on and I think I deserve the title shot?
I thought they were going to pull out
I'm a 6-time world champion, the first ever undisputed champion. I deserve a title shot.
Stop it!
I'm Roman Reigns and you're trying to push me to the moon. I deserve a title shot.
I'm John Cena. Do I even need to say anything?
Vince McMahon has my hand throughout my entire career. I deserve a world title shot.
I'm holding Vince McMahon's pocket. That's it. Prison Break reference.
I got that, actually. I've only seen the first season of Prison Break, but I actually got that reference.
John Cena is holding Vince McMahon's pocket, and that's why we're here.
And then we got that 6-man announcement for the 6-man tag main event. We'll talk about that match later. Can't really call it a match either, but we'll get to that later. Let's get on to some of the other big storylines that came out of this Raw, which, one thing, the world's largest tag team with Mark Henry and the Big Show versus the Wyatt family. I guess they're just trying to continue whatever feud they were going with from last week.
Over 1,400 pounds in the ring, and this time it showed. It was slow. It was plotting. Good for Eric Rowan being able to body slam the Big Show. Okay, but when you go for it twice, you know it's not gonna happen the second time.
At least not right away.
Very predictable. And when Rusev came out, you knew he was gonna screw over Mark Henry, and with the DQ finish, it means the match was pointless. It helps out the Mark Henry and the Rusev feud, but you're leaving the Wyatts in the lurch. What's the Big Show doing? Big Show's a cheerleader.
Pretty much now. Everything. This match, just from the get-go, I just was not a fan of it. When they first announced it to the minute it ended with Rusev kicking Mark Henry, I can't even say in the face because it looked like it missed, really.
It did look like it missed. He did have to get pretty high to get
when we look at a tag team like Rowan and Harper, we know that these guys can put on 5-star matches.
Very true.
Except when you face a tag team of 2 giant guys who really can't move.
Yes.
With Big Show and Mark Henry. That's the main reason I'm not a fan of the world's largest tag team. Because they're 2 of the same guy. Normally with tag teams, you can tell 2 different personalities. Like with Harper, he's the more agility of the tag team, even though he's still a big guy.
He's the more agility, and Rowan's the power.
Exactly. And Even Rowan is getting better in the ring. We always used to say Rowan was the weak link of the Wyatts.
Now
In a way,
really
even though
that.
he still is the weak link, it's not saying anything bad to him because he's getting really better in the ring.
Yeah. Well, when you're around Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt all the time, you better learn something.
Exactly. And having a match with two guys who can barely move, as much I like Big Show, I like Mark Henry, hate them as a tag team. Just no.
I mean, it's a good idea. It was a good idea
On paper.
5 years ago. But now, when they're in their late 30s, early 40s,
No.
and they're all... No, don't do that. And this match, it showed it was plotting, it was slow, it was boring, and even the stuff at the end was... That promo, man. That promo later... with Mark Henry after the Rusev Zack Ryder squash from hell, and that promo, it was Jack Swagger. It was a Jack Swagger Zeb Colter promo.
Except without, it's like if you merged them together and became sexual chocolate.
Yeah,
Well, if anything, it's Rusev moving on to the next level of American, saying the same.
The only reason Mark Henry is getting involved right here is because he's the United States. What is it? Bronze.
He won the silver medal.
Silver medal. He's a silver medal for the United States in the Olympics. Yeah, it makes sense. Go after the next level of American. Okay, but still, do you think Rusev and Mark Henry are going to give you good matches?
Probably not.
Like Rusev and Swagger gave you good matches? No. And I'm not looking forward to whenever Rusev and Mark Henry tangle.
It's not going to be a very long feud. It really isn't.
I really hope not.
And like you said, Big Show has become the cheerleader of this, even though the original plan was to have him put over Bray Wyatt. That looks like it's out the tubes.
For now. That Bray Wyatt still has to take out Chris Jericho so Chris Jericho can go back on tour. Okay?
Pretty much. Alright, that's all that can be said on this one. Moving on to the Intercontinental title / United States title feud, because, these two were in a tag team match with United States Champion Sheamus and Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz and Cesaro.
This was actually... I liked this.
I actually liked it too.
I did. I liked the match was crisp. It was moving. The Miz's character, is growing on me. It's
the A-lister.
The A-lister with the moneymaker. It's growing on me. It's amusing. And now that he's got his stunt double, Damian Mizdow, that whole ending, was comic gold. Okay. Comic gold, and it did well to get over Miz's character because the Miz runs out of the ring, gets Mizdow to go in and
be a stunt double,
and all that, and Mizdow takes the
zigzag,
the zigzag and backs up right into the what's the name of the move?
Skull crushing finale.
The skull crushing finale. And I'm so used to him using the figure 4 from back in the day that the skull crushing finale is...
You forget that's actually... You forgot his finishing move.
Yeah. And because he's kicking out... The Dolph Ziggler's kicking out of it a SummerSlam. It's like, what's the point? But he hits it clean, semi-clean victory. And it gives The Miz momentum heading forward into the later stages of the feud going into Night of Champions. Now that it's confirmed that The Miz and Ziggler are having a rematch, and this is the one thing of the show that actually really worked for me.
It actually worked for me too, because one thing that they did, that's something I was complaining about the last week, was that they were doing they had real lack of focus on this feud. This was the center point of the feud, or of the tag team match.
Yeah, so
Cesaro and Sheamus were kind of in the back end. which kind of sucks because I like Cesaro and Sheamus. They're both very athletic.
You
powerful,
know they're gonna have
interesting
Cesaro and Sheamus are gonna have their one-on-one match at
Oh yeah,
Night of Champions too. They don't. They're good wrestlers, but it made sense to focus on the Intercontinental title at this point because the United States title is set.
Yeah.
Okay, that match is set. It's Cesaro wants it. Sheamus has it. Boom.
Done.
There we go.
And with this one, it's just The Miz messing with Ziggler every now and then. This just may be a rambling of a fanboy, but I'm very disappointed with the whole lack of push. I hate that I keep saying it every other week. It's just this whole lack of build for Sandow, where he's now the point where he's filling in for what's his name? Alex Riley. He's now the Alex Riley for The Miz.
Well, let's think of it this way, okay?
He's now lackey.
At least now there's a focus.
I'll give you that. At least
on Sandow, it's not just him being different guys being different real guys every week and getting his ass beat every week. Now there's some kind of focus,
and he's still getting his ass kicked every week.
And when he turns on The Miz, okay, maybe they'll start the rebuild.
I hope so.
For him.
I really hope so. That's the only thing of this whole feud that I'm getting kind of frustrated with. But that's just, like I said, the ramblings of a fanboy.
No.
But other than that, it was actually the most interesting thing that came out of this Raw.
Very true.
And the one thing that actually got me angry from this Raw was Stephanie McMahon coming out and trying to give Nikki Bella a Divas title shot. At first, they were doing this whole thing of this whole Brie, Bella, Nikki telling all these stupid stories, how Brie Bella stole her prom date, or there was a car accident, and Brie told Nikki to take the blame. I don't care. I wasn't really paying attention. Even during pre-taped segments, Nikki Bella cannot act to save her life.
Oh, it's true.
And I'm very glad that everyone else is seeing this. All the reaction that this whole Bella Twins feud is getting. And the fact that you think they had the courtesy to try and put the Bella Twins in the Divas title picture? No. Thank you, AJ, for coming out and kind of reminding Stephanie that's like, you and your husband seem to forget the concept of a number one contender. I still have my rematch clause. I'm the number one contender. And it's just like, you know what, Paige? You know what, AJ? You made a very good point. I don't even really remember the last time there have been, real number one contender matches other than, the Intercontinental title. Every time when there's a world title match, the challenger is just announced. He doesn't earn it. He's just saying, oh, you see this guy? He's going for the world title. And that's something that's very wrong in WWE nowadays. But the fact that you can try and put the Bellas in the Divas title picture, just, what are you thinking, WWE? I know you're trying to promote Total Divas, but just one word, no.
My reaction to this entire promo is basically the same as my reaction to the segment last week. If you remember, it was just basically me going like this throughout everyone speaking about it last week.
In a way, that's how I was reacting.
No!
It takes the words right out of your mouth how frustrating this is.
I think, don't quote me on this, but I think they're going with a fatal four-way Divas title match at Night of Champions. So there's still hope that the title won't go on a Bella at Night of Champions. There's still a smidgen of hope. Okay, but my pessimistic brain is telling me that because the big feud is gonna be Nikki versus Brie. That Abella is gonna come out Divas champion, and I'm gonna projectile vomit everywhere.
I think the only real interesting thing that got my attention in this whole segment was the confrontation between Stephanie McMahon and AJ. That was interesting.
That was good stuff.
I can actually see that being the Austin Mr. McMahon feud of the Divas division, yes, if they push it right. And that was just planting of the seeds when after the whole Nikki telling Brie to leave continuously, where we were saying, shut up, Nikki, and Brie, yes, why don't you just push her already and try and end this feud as quickly as possible?
And she did, and almost broke Paige in half on the fall.
I love that it barely touched Paige. I like that she kind of was trying to dodge it, and it barely hit her, and she still sold it like a champion.
Yeah, and did you notice the quick reflexes of Paige as the belt almost flew out of the ring?
Yeah, I noticed that too. That was good for Paige for making that quick save there.
Because if she doesn't make that save, the entire segment, it already sucked, but the entire segment was screwed. Because then AJ can't pick up the title, start skipping around the ring, and skip right into Stephanie McMahon, where the interesting part of the promo finally takes place.
Like, yes, Stephanie, leave the Bella feud and get onto a feud that's actually worth something. I would love to see a AJ versus Stephanie feud. Because at this point, AJ kind of is she's the face of the Divas division. Her and Paige, pretty much. Yep. And I would love to see what they can do with Stephanie and AJ. And have Triple H work with the men. But, yeah. Paige kind of being thrown in the back burner on this one.
Yeah, makes me sad.
It really is sad.
Makes me sad, Scholar.
Alright, moving on. Let's see. We keep bringing up Paul Heyman, or at least his Paul Heyman guys throughout this whole show. Let's bring up Paul Heyman, once again talking about how awesome Brock Lesnar is, how stupid John Cena is.
The same promo that he's been cutting for a month. Mm-hmm. It's getting old. He only added one new word. Emasculated. It was a good word, but there's only so many. Paul Heyman is great on the mic, okay, but we need to spice it up a little bit. Change the words you use, because you're cutting the same promo you cut last week, and the week before that, and the week before that. Well, not the week before that, because he wasn't champion yet.
It was something similar.
Similar that was talking about beating John Cena.
Here it is. It's the same promo of beating John Cena. It's just like last time it was that he's going to be the champion. And this one, he's already the champion. Yeah. He's just going to beat him down and show he's a dominant champion.
Okay, give me some new material, please. The promo was good. It was fine. I've just heard it about 6 times in the last 6 weeks. Give me some new stuff to talk about.
Here's some new stuff to talk about. More evil, dashingly gold shenanigans.
Evil dust.
Dust. Where they're trying to like, oh, it was a misunderstanding. Nope. We just have.
Sure, I hit you in the mouth.
What was it? Jay Uso versus Goldust, or was it Jimmy Uso versus Gold? It was an Uso versus Goldust. And how did that match? I don't even remember how it ended. With Goldust winning, actually. Yeah. After whichever Uso attacked Stardust, after Stardust attacked the injured Uso. It's kind of sad that I don't know which Uso is which.
They look the same.
They do look the same, and I can't even tell when I'm watching it which one's Jimmy and which one's Jay. Oh well.
All I know is that there's one who's not injured, and the other one keeps getting chair shots to the knee every week.
And I can't wait to see what more Goldust and Stardust do as heels.
Yeah,
I want to see them do backstage promos as heels.
It's gotta be good stuff. And here's to a title reign starting at Night of Champions.
Let's hope so. The Usos as much as they were a great tag team champions, they are long overdue to drop those belts. They're not doing anything interesting anymore. As we said, they should have dropped it to the Wyatts a long time ago, but at least they're actually, one thing, having another feud for the tag team division. Jeez. It's really not much to talk about this week, really. There is, like, we talk about stuff, but there's just not a lot to talk about those stuff.
It was a boring week. It was
not even
when I'm sitting there, okay, drinking beer, watching Raw for the first time, actually on a Monday, because I'm not at work.
Yeah.
And I'm falling asleep. Because this is like when I fell asleep at Hooters watching Night of Champions because I kept putting Curtis Axel on my TV. This was that times 10. There was nothing that was interesting or entertaining about this show except for a tag match that happened in the first hour.
Not even a bunny attacking Heath Slater can keep you awake.
That got a chuckle out of me. That got a chuckle because Heath Slater sells getting beat up by a bunny like a champ.
He sells getting beat up by anything like a champ.
Yeah,
From old guys to divas.
But it was also one of those, it's Adam Rose, get him off my screen. Adam Rose and Titus O'Neil, why can't... This is main event. This is not Raw.
What happened? At this point, what was the whole point of breaking up Titus O'Neil with Darren Young? What was the point?
Darren Young got hurt. He needed something to...
What was the whole... I mean, they didn't even do anything with Titus O'Neil breaking off into a single star.
Yeah.
Instead, they threw him in another tag team.
They threw him in a tag team with
Gator
Slater.
That's a joke. That is a complete joke. At least with...
What is it, Gator Slater or Slater Gator?
Slater Gator.
Slater Gator. Slater's gonna slate.
Oh, God. This product right now, it's giving me a
What, you
headache.
kill off Dean Ambrose and you don't have any other storylines that you can
It is... I said this the morning after Raw. Seriously, when they took off Dean Ambrose, the goodness of WWE left with him. It really did.
Yeah, it's true.
Finish your movie soon, Dean. Really.
Come back.
And stop burying Bray Wyatt, feeding him to Cena. Speaking of Bray Wyatt, they announced that it's Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt in a steel cage match.
And what this tells me, okay, is this is Jericho's last match in the company because he's going to let Wyatt kill him off so he can go back on tour. Because he was signed until Night of Champions, okay? If they're doing this in a steel cage now...
They're not having a match at Night of Champions.
They're not having a match at Night of Champions, and this is the perfect way to end Jericho's run. Unless there's some BS.
I really, with how much they were actually promoting it, I don't see a BS ending. I see it actually being them taking Jericho off TV.
Yeah.
And I really hope so, because Bray Wyatt is in such a... The whole Wyatt family is in such a funk where, really, what can they do now with the Wyatt family?
It's one step forward, 2 steps back. You murdered Jericho at SummerSlam. So it's like, okay, he's got his heat back. We're ready. We're going to go. We're going to go forward. No, we're going to feed you to John Cena.
Thank you, Vince McMahon.
2 steps back down the rabbit hole. So now that we're 2 steps back, it's time to move another step forward and have you murder Jericho again. Take him off the air. If Wyatt was smart, after that, he'd be like, all right, but after we take Jericho off the air, I want nothing to do with Cena. Okay.
The only thing that, they can really do now with Bray Wyatt is turn him into an anti-hero. Not really a full-fledged face, but an anti-hero. I mean, he's getting the pops even though he's a heel. At this point, he's so popular. He's so good on the mic. The only thing you can do now... He doesn't have any heels left to face. He really doesn't.
It's very true.
He doesn't have any faces to face anymore, other than Cena, and we all know how that keeps ending up when it comes to him facing Cena.
Because they also beat the Shield, so
they beat the Shield.
They beat the Shield. They
beat Daniel Bryan. They beat Jericho. They beat Kane.
Yeah.
Well, when he was a face at the time.
Yeah.
But really, what other person can you have Bray Wyatt go against?
Yep. It's time to start assimilating into the cult.
I can be perfectly honest. I would like to see him go for the Intercontinental title against someone like The Miz, that Bray Wyatt can go after. The Miz as with how much he's promoting himself as a star and as someone that people should look up to. What perfect opportunity for a face Bray Wyatt to go. And even though both Harper and Rowan can go in as faces too.
It's very true.
Because they're over as a tag team. People wanted them to win the tag team titles, for God's sake. Everybody wanted to win them to win the tag team titles. Because really think about this. I'm gonna really think about this, Brian. What other face do you think can you see Bray Wyatt going after at this point? After Chris Jericho. Like, actually, with how he's been promoting himself as someone who's trying to face the guys who look at themselves as someone to look up to. Save Us, Y2J, the C Nation.
You really can't come up with a name?
You really can't. And if you can't think of anything for him as a heel, the obvious thing to do is to turn him face and have him go after heels that can actually fit his description for his character and help elevate him and help re-establish him into main event status. Look what they did with Undertaker. He came in as a villain. He came in as a dark character. When they turned him face, he was like the best. It was like the best thing that happened for his career. And even when he had a heel turn, he's still one of the most popular characters in WWE.
Yep. You gotta give him the Undertaker push at this point.
Exactly. You really do gotta give him the Undertaker push. And he's at a point where he's established himself. He can go further, adding new moves.
Yep.
His promos just keep getting better and better every time he says something.
I got upset because they only gave him a 15-second promo.
For his match with Jericho?
For the match with Jericho, where he just basically said, "Run."
Pretty much.
That was pretty much it.
15 seconds, it was still a good promo.
That's all we saw of Bray Wyatt last night on Raw. That was it.
That was the sad thing, and I'm trying to... and every time he comes on, I try and turn on the flashlight on my cell phone every time he talks. I was like, okay, I got it. It's over already? Damn.
Yep, and that's sad. Okay, you have all this other BS, and you can't put like a Bray Wyatt squash match or whatever to get himself geared up for...
Apparently not.
For this cage match that's so important next week. No, you give him 15-second promo. Not good scheduling and booking. WWE, like we say.
What is going on these past couple weeks?
Like we say every week. Okay, the WWE creative team is not so creative.
That's the one thing that they are lacking is creativity.
Ugh. And that's why what has happened the last 2 weeks does not surprise me. King Pessimist over here expects crap.
And even Captain Optimism can't defend it. He chooses not to defend it because he even gets upset with what's been going on. You remember how he was last week. He was just as disappointed as we were.
Yep.
So the Captain Optimism has put on hold because there's nothing to optimize about. And with that, we'll go into the main event where it's another thing you can't look at with optimism. With the whole match, all it was just building so Cena can dominate. That's what the entire match was. Cause
I'm surprised that they had Roman Reigns take as much punishment as he did. He was the first.
Him and
babyface in peril. Okay, then Jericho, and they played the angle of Reigns and Jericho refusing to tag in Cena.
Throughout the entire match. And then Jericho was getting his ass beat so bad that he was just like, you know what? Screw it. In came Cena. Within 30 seconds, the match is over. It really was.
And then he goes up to Triple H's face, starts talking stuff. Here comes Seth Rollins with the briefcase, picks him up. Rollins isn't even fighting.
There wasn't any fighting at all in this match when it came to...
Rollins wasn't even trying to get out. He just kind of went up in the fireman's carry and took it.
Everyone knows that Cena is going to lose. No matter how hard you're trying to build him as this super god that no one can touch now, it's not going to change anything because no one cares anymore. Actually, all it does is piss all of us off. Is because you're just taking future talent that could become future stars in your company, the new faces of your company, and you're just feeding them to the current face of the company, who is not going to be the face of the company in the near future.
And you're building him up for a probable loss at Night of Champions. So it's like you're burying all these guys. Okay, Kane, I'll give a pass to because Kane
he's been doing that since he joined the Authority.
He's been doing that since he came back with the mask. So it's like okay, Kane, I don't really have that much of an issue with him burying Kane. I like that Orton and Jericho took each other out so they couldn't get in on the burial too. And I like that John Cena let Roman Reigns actually win the match. That's good. That's fine. All that noise. The stuff at the end with Seth Rollins wasn't really necessary.
It just made Seth Rollins look so irrelevant.
Yeah, it's like
it really did.
He didn't even twitch as he goes up in the fireman's carry.
He even had Cena taunt Triple H before he did it. Same thing with Kane. He taunted Triple H before he gave Kane the FUAA. I'm gonna just call it that.
You had to do it twice. You had to taunt Triple H twice. You couldn't have actually done it and then go like this. Come on, dude. It's getting old. If he wins at Night of Champions, I don't know, man.
Oh, if he wins at Night of Champions, it's going to be a riot, but we all know he's not.
Better not. You hear that, WWE? Better not happen.
If you don't want everyone canceling their subscription to your network, you don't want angry fans on your hands, the best thing to do is not let John Cena win another world title.
Yes, stop it.
He's reached
whatever
the
you're
point,
thinking, stop it.
There is a point now where John Cena does not need the title anymore. He doesn't. They use him as the last resort champion. You yippee. No one cares. All it is just insulting Ric Flair's what is it, 30? No. How long was it? The time period for Ric Flair to get the 16-time world champion? However long a year span.
20-something.
Over 20 years of him trying to get the 16th time, and John Cena gets it in less than 10?
Yeah, no.
And it's only because they keep giving him the title. He loses. A month later, he wins it. He loses it. A month later, he wins it. That shouldn't count.
Yeah, it's the whole mindset of the WWE these days are no long title reigns. So that's why King Pest over here has that niggle in the back of his head that's like that 1% chance in the back of my head. They're actually going to have Cena win. They're actually going to have Cena win. While 99% of my brain is saying they'll give Cena 5 minutes of offense and then Brock Lesnar will murder him again.
It's driving us so crazy. We're mumbling our words.
Yeah, so it's like the match itself was good. It got the point across. The match itself, everything after the ending to the match, not really necessary. Didn't need to happen. Just burying another up and coming talent.
That's the one thing that I was afraid of.
And Seth Rollins is another one of those guys who will bounce back. It was only one move, but it still wasn't necessary. And if it was building up for a win at Night of Champions, fine. whatever.
But in the long run, it's not.
But it's not. It's not building to a win. You're burying all these people to build up a guy who is 95% certain to lose at Night of Champions, making all of this pointless anyway.
This is just... I am just at a loss for words. Because like I said, it was something I was afraid of last week. I said last week, after John Cena completely annihilated Bray Wyatt and the whole Wyatt family, you still had 3 or 4 more weeks to build up this whole match between John Cena and Brock Lesnar. I was afraid that they're just going to have him mow through the roster. I didn't want them to do that. I hoped they weren't going to do that. But after seeing what they did this week on Raw, it looks like that's what's happening.
Yep.
Having him mow through the heel roster, completely annihilating the future of your company.
The only heel he hasn't touched is Randy Orton, and let me tell you, that's probably coming.
It is probably coming. Because he keeps trying to... The whole point is him trying to prove Triple H that he is worthy of being in this title match.
So the Raw before Night of Champions, the main event will probably be John Cena versus Randy Orton, and...
It'll probably be this coming week. Let's see, what is it, 3 weeks left or 2 weeks till Night of Champions?
I think it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks? They'll probably have John Cena mow through like Randy Orton. Maybe they'll have him like in a handicap match against the Authority and him mowing through them again. And then next week you'll have the big confrontation before the pay-per-view between John Cena, first with Paul Heyman, and then comes out Lesnar, still laughing like, yeah, you may be going through this roster, but I can go through it with a pinky.
Yes.
That type of thing.
Yes.
And it's just going to lead... this is just the booking that I was just hoping wasn't going to happen. So,
but guess what? It's the WWE, so it did.
It's the WWE. When you look at the Hall of Fame, now, and thinking John Cena's going in the Hall of Fame, just think of what's going to happen after that. Who's really worthy enough to be put in the Hall of Fame after the whole Ruthless Aggression area? There really isn't anyone.
No.
Really, after John Cena and Randy Orton and Batista, what other names have you really built that could be stars that can go outside the ring and be like, oh, you're sort of like the Hulk Hogan, or you're the Warrior, someone who's a name other than just a wrestling name.
They are attempting really hard with Roman Reigns right now, but I can't say anything to that yet. As of now, okay, nobody.
I have to say nobody too, and as much as I love how they are pushing the Shield as a team, they were pushing the Shield perfectly. They broke them up. They are still a powerful force. Each one of them by themselves, they are a powerful force. But when it comes to
as of now, it's too soon. It's too soon to tell. All 3 of these guys have a shot of getting into the Hall of Fame, but
take Randy Orton and John Cena out of the roster, you really don't have people who will help carry out your promotion or your company to the future. There isn't anyone. And that's what's wrong with WWE today.
And that leads into why I'm giving
I was going to say, what's
the
your
show
rating?
The rating I'm giving it. Everyone else broke out the new rating last week. I am going to do it this week. This show gets a grand old 5 o'clock shadow for me because it was just boring, man. The wrestling was good, but boring. So I can't give it the clean shave because the wrestling was good. There were a couple okay parts to the show, but overwhelming boredom for everything else brings it down to a 5 o'clock shadow. Come on, WWE. You're not making me want to watch Night of Champions. And Brock Lesnar beating the crap out of John Cena again should just be enough to say, plop down a seat and watch the network. Okay, but as of right now, I could care less about any of the matches on the pay-per-view
And that's
as of right now, and that's not good.
That is not good at all. And really, I'm going to have to agree with you there. I'm also going to have to give it a 5 o'clock shadow. Last time it was last week, what was it was borderline clean shaven. It's a little more just straightforward 5 o'clock shadow. Like, at least with last week, I got so angry with what they were doing. It really wanted me to give them a big middle finger to the product. This one, it was just like, all right, just another episode. Nothing really happened. Instead, you're just having John Cena mow through some of your up-and-coming talent. What is that saying to how your confidence in your future talent? Not very much.
I will say this, okay? Last week I was angry. This week I was expecting it. So it's like, all right, here we go. It happened. It was boring. Done.
All right. Now we want to know what you, our listening crowd, thought of Monday Night Raw. Were you on the same page as we are, or were you in a completely different book? Did you think it was somewhat decent? I don't know anyone who actually would. I want to have a conversation with someone who think it was decent.
You know that someone is gonna be dumb and
try and defend it,
and not even that. Just be like, I liked it.
Thank you.
Tell me why.
Because John Cena wins.
Get out!
Get out, child. You're too young. You're too young to know better. Wait till you're older.
Go in the pen with the goats.
All right. If we want to know what you thought, comment below this video, like our video, subscribe to our channel, find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and thank you all for listening in. Nothing else more to say except that we are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
I'm going to go watch Raw again because I need a nap.
I'm going to go do what the guy on Raw said. I'd rather watch Nitro on the network than watch the current product of WWE. I'm going to go watch Nitro.
Oh, okay.
That's just sad.
In